Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for coming tonight. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel. Just a couple of announcements before we get started. The York County History Center museums and library are currently closed to prepare for our move-in. The new History Center at the steam plant will be open to the public in July, and we'll have an open house events for members in late June. And we'll continue to hold programs like this one here in the meeting hall until the new building is available. For updates and more information, you can visit our website at yorkhistorycenter.org. And some announcements on programs. On Sunday, April 7th, the South Central Pennsylvania Genealogical Society will be meeting, and Aaron McWilliams will be talking about doing research at the new state archives. On Sunday, April 14th, the Friends of the History Center will have a luncheon at the Yorktown Hotel. And April 17th, the York County History Center Writers Roundtable will be meeting, and Jim McClure will be talking about York County's reaction to Fort Sumter. And now I'd like to welcome Alexander Young, who will be talking about his experience in the Army.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Evening. All right, let me say this like this for all our vets. Rest. All right. One of the biggest things is I've been in the military. I was in the military for 12 years. I am originally from Chicago, Illinois. I went to the military. I started off in the military in 2001. And when I signed up with the Army National Guard, the Illinois National Guard, which was the 633rd PSD. And one of the biggest things about it was that being in the National Guard, you know, they would say we was weekend warriors. And of course, the recruiters would say, oh, y'all never have a year, Lord. Until one day I was at, until one day I got a call from my squad leader, and she said, come on, Rob Young, you gotta come in this weekend, bring everything. We got a raging bull. And I said, we have a what? We have a raging bull, which means we're getting ready to go to war. And I was never thought I would get that call. So one of the big things I wanted to talk about my experience and life. And one of the big things that we're going to really get to is here I have a picture of our right. A picture of our right right here. It is, if you look right here, the yellow spot, if you can zoom in on that. There is a triangle, because in 2005, we went to a place called the Triangle of Death. One of the most horrifying years of my life. I will never forget it. Now, I got these photos here to show, you know, that's when I was in, that's my basic training photos. So if you see what I look like, that look like me and Sergeant Major right there. I was just a private. You know, and there's a couple of photos to show who I am. You got a photo of me being on patrol and another photo of me, but I want to share this experience with you all because it's important that people understand who we are as people and not just as soldiers. Because soldiers can understand soldiers, but civilians can't understand soldiers like a soldier can understand soldiers. So what I want to break down is a little bit of history. So when I was with the 633rd PSD, you know, I was a human resources specialist, 42 hours, which means yes, I did the paperwork. Yeah, I can say I'm a desk jockey, a paper pusher, but one of the biggest things is that combat has no discrimination against whatever job you have. So. The National Guard, when I first deployed. When I first deployed, it was an experience like no other. To hear good missiles being fired off and you standing there hearing the alarm, you don't know where it's going to land. The experience of standing there wondering, is this really happening? Because it's an experience that you think that you're not going to come back. The first time when I first left, my mom thought I wasn't coming back. She was scared out of her mind. But after my first tour, when I came back home, she was very happy and excited. But it didn't stop there, because at some point I met my ex-wife and my first time in Iraq, and we had a baby on the way, and so I had to do something to try to make ends meet. And so what I did was I said, you know what, Mom, I'm actually gonna go full-time Army. Because I need to do this, because it was hard to get a job, and jobs weren't paying as much like they're doing now. And the National Guard wasn't gonna pay as much, because you only get paid a weekend, a month, 1 weekend a month. So I got to go full-time Army, and I got stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. But then my wife at the time had came down on order to go to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault. And I came down on orders as well to go there. But when I got there, little did I know I was going to be introduced to my family. If you see me today, right now, I have on all black. And the reason why I have on all black is because I was with the 1st of the 502nd Infantry Regiment. And the brigade had a symbol, which was the Black Hearts. And so today I'm wearing that to represent my Black Heart family, 1st of the 502nd. Because that was a family I never thought I would have. We've shared experiences from one state to another. We all had different experiences. We had different backgrounds, but the big thing we had that today's military don't have is camaraderie. We had love for one another. And we had good times in garrison. But the time in 2005 had come to where we went into a place that was very dangerous. Now, Iraq is dangerous. By no means necessary. By no means I'm saying it's not dangerous. It is dangerous. But the place we went to was a very hot spot that many people didn't make it back. We lost over a good 23 people in a month of time. You might say, oh, that's not much, but that's a lot. That is a lot. One of the big things you would experience is that when we went to this place, we expected to come back home, but what people don't really realize is you don't see the soldiers that's still here. You don't see what we deal with on the inside on a daily basis. I say it's the death that never dies. It's because it's a moment that's always living that you wish, I wish Specialist Owens could have came back home I wish Specialist Bustamante would have came back home. I wish Sergeant Baker would have came back home. I wish Sergeant Orlando would have came back home. It's a great that, it's a thing that's inside of us that, you know, we miss those days. We try not to forget those times. We try to forget the hard times, but we don't want to forget it because we'll forget about the good times too. And it's a struggle within us as soldiers, as civilians right now as well. Here I have my lovely wife, Evelyn, with my two lovely kids, David and Natalia. And I can tell you, my wife puts up with a lot with me dealing with when I have PTSD. But she understands. But one of the problems that we had as soldiers being deployed is that a lot of spouses didn't understand. Whether it was the wife or the husband who was in the military, the spouse never understood and didn't know because of that support system that they thought they had, they didn't have. Many soldiers that committed suicide based on the lack of support that they had at home. One of the big things that I could say that the family that I had here, we supported one another when we went through our downs. We supported one another. When we had a problem, we supported one another. When everything was looking too good, we supported one another. Whether it was good, bad, we supported one another and we stood together. I've experienced things in my life as a 42 and Alpha. Yes, as a 42 Alpha, you will think of human resources specialist. Oh, what do? They just sit behind the desk. Oh no. You'll go out there too, and experiencing IEDs on the road, experiencing gunfire, experiencing a firefight, experiencing mortar rounds. Yes, I've seen it. But the one thing I didn't want to experience was dead bodies. The one thing I did want to experience was the loss of life, of friends, of my family who I loved, who I didn't know them from a can of pint until we got together in the deployed. One of the big things I want to share with you is that these deployments, each deployment gradually has had a significant meaning to it. My first deployment, it showed me, it matured me because it helped me to be thankful for what I have here at home because of what I thought what they didn't have there. My second deployment, it grew me because it helped me to understand and expect things and helped me to be more alert and aware of things. And my last deployment, it challenged me to be a better person. It really challenged me to be a better person. But now that I'm out, I'm going to hit the next slide. So now that I'm out, I want to give y'all an illustration. Yes, I want to give y'all an illustration about something. Yeah, good. Because I want to help people to understand what basic training is. What do y'all see here? Anybody that's from desert? The desert. What else? Highway. You see that road, right? Is that all y'all see? Well, let me take you on this journey. This road right here, this taught me some things. You might not see it, but that's an IED right there. Wow, what do you mean? I don't see nothing like that. That's right. Because most of the time, we're not aware of what's there. We only stay focused on what we see and what we think is normal and it's straight and nice. And basic training they said that when we went to basic training that we was programmed. We was not programmed. The one thing about basic training is that the drill sergeants was helping us to be more aware and be proactive and be aware of our surroundings. Because we have to be ready at any given time. I know some of y'all missed those, I still know some of y'all missed those days when you had to get up, get down, get up, get down, get up, get down. Go upstairs, the wall locker, then they come upstairs, destroy it, get back down that formation. You only had 2 minutes to do so. And then you come down, you forget something, and they say, oh, you forgot this. So now your whole platoon, y'all gotta get smoked, y'all gotta do some push-ups. Well, this road right here, I want to illustrate that sometimes we can be going down a road, but we're not unaware. I mean, we're not aware of what is going on. With the fellow veterans, you know, people take time. You never know what somebody's going through. They might look happy and chipper, but you never know what they're going through. People will say that, you know, people that have PTSD or anything, that will say that they're crazy. You know, but you don't know what they go through. You know, my wife has to put up with me having nightmares. She has to put up with me looking around all the time. She has to put up with me because sometimes it diminishes my life of what I want to do. I don't like going out like I used to. The mall was a place I like to go to. I like going out, but right now I'm at the point where I don't like. Our bodies are not the same no more. Came back a different person, I came back a different person. I might be mature, but that does not mean I'm not hurting on the inside. That does not mean I don't have pain on the inside. That does not mean I am not crying on the inside. Sometimes I cry out loud. You know, we commemorate this past month of February. You know, it was a very hard month for me because I lost most of my best friends was killed that day. And there is a book about us called The Black Hearts. And I'm sure that was a very terrifying day for my battalion because we got ambushed. One of our platoons got ambushed where it was only 3 people on the gate guard and got ambushed by Iraqi insurgents real hard due to a soldier's misconduct. And we lost 3 good guys that day. Tied up, and it was set like a booby trap. And one of the big things we have to really realize is that, you know, today, I want to tell you all, you know, my hats off to the Vietnam vets, the Korean War vets, the World War I and World War II vets, because you guys paved the way. You all seen the things, and now me and my brother back there, we have solved the things as well. And it's not easy to talk about this stuff. It is not easy to talk about this stuff. It's not easy to share. Because you need to share with people who can get in a trench. I'm that person that if you're going through, I'm not going to give you the rope. I'm going to get in that trench. I'm going to get in that foxhole with you so I can show you how to get out. Because sometimes if I give somebody a rope to get out, they ain't going to know how to get out for themselves again if they get back into the place. We know what it's like. War doesn't hold no discrimination on your job. An IED doesn't hold discrimination on your job. A motor round, a RPG, an EFP doesn't hold a discrimination on your job. You know, we, how can I say this? We have made an impact in Iraq. But look at the impact it made in our lives. Look at the impression that it left on us. That's why I say it's like the death that never dies. Because it's always gonna come back to them. Though we don't wanna go through this pain, but we have to go through this process. And, but I got out in 2013 and I went to school. I got a associate in human resources management. And then I continued my education and I got my bachelor's in business management and I moved forward. And now, you know, I was gracious enough to meet this lovely woman right here, preaching on a conference line, being a minister. And we got married in 2020. And today, you know, I'm also a published author.
Bye.
And the best feeling I'm gonna say that I've ever had was coming home from Iraq. Because coming home felt good, but it didn't feel good not having my friends with me that I cherish so much. But I encourage you to still reach out to those that you still have around you. Because y'all shared the same blood, y'all shared the same tears, y'all had the same sweat. And y'all earned every bit. All the veterans in here. No, earned every bit of respect. So I'm gonna close it off with that. Now, I wanna go ahead, if anybody would like to have any questions and questions, I can answer for you. We can go ahead, this is the interactive phase if you would like, so I'm all open to any questions. Any comments? Yes, sir.
You said, Alexander, that you enlisted in 2001, correct?
I enlisted in 2001.
Was that triggered by anything nationally at that time? What made you join up at that?
Well, something in my heart told me to join, to sign up for the military, you know. At some point, I got tired of being told that, you know, you couldn't make it, you couldn't do it. And, you know, you wouldn't make it. And for me, it wasn't about having a point to prove to anybody, but I wanted to show myself that I can do everything before anybody else can say I can't do it. Because sometimes in my teenage years, some people said things to me that subconsciously messed with me. And I played into it. But then I joined. So that's what made me join.
First off, welcome home. Welcome also to your wife. You know, like I have a wife, and like I said before, I get into having a wife is a big movement to yourself. So, and a lot of times, everybody overlooks the spouse, whether it's a wife or a husband. But I just want to give a lot of respect in this having being there for the good brother. And it's definitely appreciated by all military, not just by your husband. We all appreciate it. But I wanted to ask you, what would you tell the veterans now that feel as though they don't have nothing wrong with them and they're perfectly fine?
I would tell them to go reevaluate themselves and to get yourself checked out. Because I thought that way too. But when life hit, and then I would tell them, when life hits, then it'll start triggering even more. Don't wait till the last, I'll say it also, don't wait till the last minute till it gets really out of control. Go ahead.
You said that you were 3 tours, right? Each tour, you mentioned that how it affected you, mature, something is a challenge. But I wonder when you were there, each time you went. Were you stationed in a different place? Did you see different things? Was it more dangerous versus less dangerous?
And it was, so different things. Because when our first deployment, we started off in Kuwait, and then we got attached to a unit and went to Iraq. It was very dangerous then. But then my second deployment, when we went to where we went to, it was even more dangerous. And then my third deployment, we went to where they call Karamia, the place where they hung Saddam Hussein, where they did him. That was an even more dangerous place. And I did see different things on a different scale. And the more experience I get, the more challenged I became to just, do better, to sound when I get out. I want to be more alert. I want to be more better. Because it shows you see different things. You might have seen the same type of stuff. You might have seen the IEDs and everything, but everything happens on a different scale because every experience will be different. But I can tell you this much: I won't ever want to experience that again. Not one, not. I would not have experience it again.
Thank you.
That's very right to handle.
Well, I was just gonna, get something on the lighter side. The photograph you're looking at there is not an Iraqi highway, correct? And it certainly doesn't look like a Pennsylvania highway either.
No, sir, that's the road that I had.
It's way too smooth and nice for Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Like we would call first text.
Yeah, it's just the road I had for illustration. Just everything might look nice, but if we don't really see anything. That's what I said, like the basic kind of they were teaching us how to be more aware. But most of the time in real site, they yell at you, but they're breaking down your habits that you did back at home to help bring you awareness of not only just being a soldier, just being ready for life. Period, because sometimes we're not aware of what can happen. We could just be going on down and next thing you know, we're not prepared. So that's why I had the illustration of that road.
Can I have a part B to that?
Go ahead.
Hypothetically, that is Iraq and the way you were being trained. If you're traveling down that road, knowing what you know, what are you looking for?
If I'm looking for, one of the big things I learned is that sometimes look for a little sand on the road. Like if you're looking for IED, like if you're not looking for, but one of the indicators, like it could be a little sand on the road. That's a big indicator to be careful. Because it'll look like the wind blew it on there, but somebody was really messing with that spot over there. So you have to be careful. And then sometimes you'll have to look for little, sometimes roads on the road as well. Cause they could have did something to make it like a little bump in the road or something perfect way. And one of the big things also to look for too is, also look around to make sure you're not being ambushed by anything else. Cause sometimes it can be made to ambush you. Like they can set one off, but then they can have people come from somewhere to come get you. So you have to be aware of that.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
So what would you say to the younger children that would wanna be recruited as being a soldier, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say to them. Be ready. Be the best version of yourself you can be. Be prepared. And don't take time for granted. I would say that. Don't take time for granted. Don't volunteer for something if you're not gonna be ready for it. I've dealt with that in the military as well. I had a person who, he was an infantry guy, he joined the military, but then I had to do a conscious objective packet on him because he didn't want to go to combat because he felt he had to talk with his parents and he felt that he couldn't, do what he had to do, return, follow rules of engagement. And, one of the biggest things is I've talked with him, I said, I understand that, but why'd you join in the first place then? Because one thing is, you have to understand if you're gonna sign up for something, understand the totality of what you're getting into. Because many people say, hey, I'm gonna join, I wanna sign up. Some people join for the money, some people join for the education, but they did not realize what they were getting into. They didn't realize what it comes with. Some people, say, oh, I didn't want to deploy. Well, guess what? Welcome to the military. Yes, you get to hold a gun. Unless you are a chaplain, you will be firing a weapon. Yes, sir.
Those 3 tours, how often or did you, or how often were you face to face with the enemy?
Whoa. Quite a bit of time. Several times. And I'll give it at least about a good 30% of the time. Because I was, like I said, I was supposed to be at headquarters, but at times I did have to go out. We had to pick up certain teams like our finance team when they had a little certain special paydays and stuff like that. Go out and get mail with the people. And it was horrifying, especially in my first tour. That kind of, because I didn't know what to do, because I never been in no firefighter before. So, and I had people dragging me like, get over here and okay, I'll do what you do. But the second tour, it made me more better, so I knew what to do then. So I knew how to react. And I knew how to be more proactive then to say, okay, I know what to do. Because any given time, and many people are afraid to say, oh, well, many people are afraid to say that he was face to face with it, but I'm not afraid to say I'm face to face with it. I was out there, I even pulled guard duty sometimes. Then I pulling guard duty. There was and this is one of the most funniest incidents that I've ever had. I was on a gate guard and I had a group of people coming in. And as I was on the radio calling it in, all of a sudden I see a rocket coming in and hit the top of the headquarters. And I screamed out, we got incoming, we got incoming. And everybody looking at me, what's going on? I said, we got incoming. And everybody was like, I'm down. I was like, we got incoming. And the thing is, it was comical because for me to say that it felt good because I felt like the movie We Were Soldiers. It just felt like, while felt like I was in a war movie, like really saying, oh man, we got incoming. So, but it was definitely an enlightening experience. But sometimes coming face to face with it, and not just on those terms, but coming face to face with things that might harm you, I'm glad you asked me that question, because you know, what are you gonna do, how do you deal with it? And how do you deal with it if you don't know how to deal with it, and who's in your corner to help you deal with it? Yes, sir.
The experiences that you had in your three deployments. And then eventually you came to a point where you separated from the.
Yeah,
And who you are today is a composite of all those things that have happened in the past. That's who you are today, from all those experiences, good and bad. Looking back to 2001. We can do it again.
yeah.
Thank you.
And the reason why I'm yeah. Not a good family support system that we never thought you would have. The family that I had, still got them now. But the family support system, I would want to have that camaraderie again. I would want I would want to be able to lead again. I would want to be able to grow again. I would want to be able to have it, experience it again. I would do it again.
I'd just like to congratulate you on taking advantage of the bill and propping yourself up, so to speak, from what you went through and what you are today. So congratulations.
Yes, I'm saying. All right.
Hi.
If there's something else, that's all I have, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So do anybody like